Welcome back to Trader UK, Adam here, back with another 5-minute stock. You'll find the full playlist now available on the channel. Today's company actually comes courtesy of Alex. Thank you very much for your recommendation. And guys, keep them coming down in the comments below. I'll be sure to check out as many companies as I can. This company here is TRACKWISE Design. Their ticker symbol is TWD. It's another UK-based company and they excel in circuit board and printed circuit technology. They have two main markets, radio frequency, which is basically antennas for cell networks. And of course, that on its own is a pretty exciting sector. With the rollout of 5G, etc. But it's the other market that shows more potential, and that's called IHT, Improved Harness Technology. Think of this as a replacement for the traditional wiring harness that you'll find in cars, that you find in aeroplanes, satellites, etc. They export globally and they have customers in the US, Australia, Europe, and China. This image here is them demonstrating their IHT technology, for which they actually hold a lot of patents in the key markets, the UK, the EU, the US, China, and Canada as well. The thing that makes this better than the traditional wiring harness is that, well, it's more reliable, and more importantly, it's much lighter and takes up less space. It's about 75% lighter, which of course, both for EVs and in aviation as well, that's going to be a huge selling point. Now, the technology itself, to have a printed circuit board, isn't anything new, but the patents that they have allows them to get around the size restriction. So their process allows them to print these at any length, and it means that they can be fully customized for their customers. Let's take a look at the 1-year chart here. So share price is currently £2.58 a share. That's down from highs of £3.70 back in December. Market cap for this one is £70 million or just over. So this is a small cap company really. Revenue says 3.7 million here, but the 2020 results were just awaiting and they've confirmed revenue will be around 6.1 million. That's actually lower than their initial estimates, and that disruption was caused by coronavirus related issues. If we take a look at the 1-year chart, you can see a spike in September it was. That's when they announced that they had won their first big contract, £38 million over 3 years to supply those IHTs to an electric vehicle OEM, which the OEM will then use in the battery packs. We'll come back to that contract in a minute. In December, you can see a drop, which is where they announced a share placement to raise £12 million needed to expand manufacturing capabilities in order to fill that new contract. The share price kind of recovered after that, and it peaked at about £3.70 in January, and we've seen a broader sell-off since then. Two reasons for that recent sell-off. Firstly, in line with general market conditions, we've seen quite a sell-off as late, but also they announced that revenue for 2020 was way under target due to coronavirus disruptions. Now let's look at these numbers moving forward. This chart here, hopefully you can see this one is really useful. So any company trading 10, 12 times 2020 revenue, you want to see some pretty significant growth over the next few years. This contract probably helps to give you the confidence that that will be the case. So it says in 2021 they are expecting £14 million of revenue. We already know this new contract is worth up to £5 million of that. So clearly they're expecting £9 million from other technology and other contracts. Now for 2022, if we just assume that they achieve the same again, so 9 million from other sources, we also know that that contract will be in peak manufacturing mode by then, or by the end of 2021 anyway. So in the final 2 years of that contract, it's going to generate 16.5 million or up to per year. Combine that 16.5 million with your 9 million from other sources, and we're looking at 2022 revenue of 25.5 million. That should end up being a pretty conservative estimate, given that it doesn't actually account for any new contracts or any new markets that they will no doubt enter in the meantime. So let's do some positives first of all. Well, they have a disruptive technology and they have a number of markets that are emerging as suited to that technology. EVs, aerospace, medical, satellites, defense, communications. They also have a competitive advantage in the fact that these boards can be printed to any size. I think it was Boeing were the company that approached them in the past about using this technology in their aircraft, and Boeing told them that they had approached other suppliers and they were told that it wasn't possible on every occasion. So you can see how that will give them a clear advantage in certain markets. I also like that from 2026, European EV manufacturers will have to pay a 10% tariff on vehicles where more than 55% of components are sourced outside of Europe. This means that more EV manufacturers in the UK and across Europe, the mainland, will be switching supply from Asia back to Europe, which could create more demand for TRACKWISE. And then finally, there is certainly a direct link. They're a direct beneficiary of this shift towards EVs, but it's probably not attracting the same attention that the EV manufacturers and the battery manufacturers and the lithium producers are. It's kind of abstract enough that they fly under the radar from some investors, which means that we can get a better price. Now, there are a couple of negatives as well. Firstly, it's early days for this company and their technology. They still need to convince major manufacturers that their product is worth switching across to. And remember, a lot of these manufacturers have existing supply chains who they are loyal to, so they might get some resistance there. Saying that though, the emergence of new manufacturers in the EV space will certainly help, as they're probably not going to be loyal, or maybe they just won't have existing suppliers. And then as well as that, in these early days, this company is going to be very reliant on a small number of contracts and customers to generate their revenue. The loss of one big customer would seriously dent the share price. So I would like to see more contracts being won. Overall, yes, I do like this one. It's a small cap, so it's higher risk. I have opened a small position, but I feel like this needs to be held for at least 2 years. I'm going to keep a close eye on this, and if we get any more announcements on new contracts, then that'll be a good sign to add some more. That was TRACKWISE Design, guys. Ticker symbol is TWR if you want to look them up. That's everything for today, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments, so I'll see you next time.